And we're back live right here. This is the city of Johannesburg. They call it the city of gold. The lady I'm with right now needs no introduction. The lovely Lisa. Lisa, how you doing?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
Such an honor to have you with us on the Global Leader Show. This is the Johannesburg edition 2026. Lisa, how about you tell our viewers a little bit more about yourself?
Well, firstly, thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for the award for such a special occasion. It's not every day one gets to speak about your success. At least I'm the kind of person that avoids it. I'd rather have my results speak for themselves. But so, who is Lisa Januario? Well, for approximately 4 decades, I have worked in education, of which 30 of those years have been dedicated to the early childhood development sector. My journey did not start in the early childhood development sector. It actually started in fine arts. As I graduated from Wits, and later on my academic journey took me to Europe to do some discovery for my master's degree. It was only in 1994 that I then added a teacher's qualification to my repertoire, and that is when the light bulb shone and says, "Oh, you can have both education and creativity together." So at the age of 24, I opened my own art school where I taught, learners from the age of 2 right up to adults, and I will not mention the age. And that I operated for 11 years. And it was during teaching at a remedial school art that I noticed the need for young learners to be able to be given a good learning foundation. And that led me then to open my own ECD center, which I operated for 16 years. But being of a sort of business mindset, I then got elected to be the chairperson of the Southern Areas ECD Forum, which we then catered for about 70 ECD centers, where we helped them with compliance and also business structure. But noticing the restraints of the forum mindset, of not so much of a business mindset, 2 years later I resigned from the position, and I founded the current business that I'm in, called ECD Upliftment Projects and Consulting. And this business is basically focused on assisting ECD centers on compliance, and also navigating, the complexities of town planning legislation, of the bylaws, of policies, and all the wonderful legislation that government departments come with. So we are basically the bridge between the government officials and the departments, and also the business ECD owners. So we help them to just relax, understand the processes, and in doing that, we empower people, because that is actually my purpose in life, is basically empowering people to be more, to do more, and to understand more. So with that, now opening my current business, it led to my closure of my art school and also the closure of my ECD center. But before the closure of my ECD center happened, and living the purpose of building people, I ensured that my entire staff had work. And one of my staff members, I actually set up then as an ECD center herself, so that you could basically continue with life, and I'm going to be able to rest in peace and have a peaceful mindset. So my greatest milestones, I would say, currently in the business that I operated for the last 14 years would be that one of them is having been, asked to be part of the compliance presentations, both with the city of Johannesburg and the city of Ekurhuleni on ECD compliance. So that was a big milestone for myself and for the business. And also then in 2025, becoming a property inspector and certified by APISA. And in 2023, being voted best town planning company by the Built magazine. And then, having received SACE accreditation for a program on self-development for teachers. And as all of that sort of encompasses growth of people, which is what we're about. But my personal, I would say, my personal still milestone or achievement in life has been the spearheading of the project at the St. Ives Primary School in Klipspruit, Soweto. That came about because I had my preschool and I did art. I had a parent that was the actual deputy principal at the school, and she said, "Lisa, our school needs to win some competitions. And you being an artist, would you volunteer to work with our learners?" And that is how the 12 years of my journey came about with that school. So I became very much involved in that community, and I became almost like a family in that school. And the children, needed to say, they did start winning their cluster competitions and their
Wow.
provincial competitions. And I enjoyed that environment so much that I asked the headmistress, is it possible that you allow me to volunteer my time to teach these learners art? So I would do that every Tuesday. And I said, like I did for 12 years. But in those 12 years and in that journey with the school, I started to see the discrepancies that existed, between the white schools, the black schools, the colored schools. And I started thinking, I need to do something about this. And I still remember sitting at an event, because I used to go to attend all the school's events. And it was the Women's Day event on the 9th of August that I was sitting outside, because everything happened outside of the school, because they didn't have a school hall. And I turned to my husband and I said, this is the last time I am sitting in the cold attending any event. So he turns to me and says, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to build a school hall. Don't ask me how and don't ask me when, but I'm going to do it. So Tuesdays would be the days that I would volunteer, and I approached the headmistress then and I said to her, is it all right if I just build you a school hall? I said, but don't ask me how and don't ask me when. She was very shocked.
Love that.
Yes, and she said, well, it is one of our wish lists. I said, well, I'm going to try and achieve it. And I did. And it became an EPWP project where I motivated for this project. I put it on the EPWP table and I said, I want funding, and I want funding to 10 million rand. And I want, this whole built. So first it was motivation. Secondly, I asked myself, now how am I going to build this? While I'm waiting to see if I do get the funding or not. I approached my Portuguese community and I started to get firstly the architects on board who just drew up the whole plans and the actual structure for free. I then went further and I said, well, I need a structural engineer and all this. So the professional team actually came on board for free.
Wow.
I then approached my husband's company and I said to him, you do pavers and bricks. I want everything donated. So I did, and we had everything donated for free as well. And that was like, for me, the most fulfilling project, because I wasn't only building, a school hall. I wasn't only building infrastructure, but I was building a better environment for the learners, and I was building a better community. Because part of that project was that we trained over 300 community members on skills that they needed, like, painting and tiling and building, to be able to build a school hall. So it became a community involvement project. Yes. And that was for me like the most fulfilling part. Needless to say, I know I had, our Portuguese newspapers following, the journey. And one of them actually nominated me for Humanitarian Award. And I told myself, well, that's great, but it wasn't the purpose. The purpose was the finished product. And I was offered, and the Humanitarian Award, I actually got awarded that Humanitarian Award by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Portugal. And I think that is like the biggest achievement in my life to date. But I am currently working on my legacy project as well, which is even bigger than that one. And I'm not going to say much about it because we're still in discussion process. All I can say is going to be one that is definitely going to change the community of the Vaal and touch thousands of lives, and definitely become the legacy that I live by, which is the purpose of uplifting and empowering people. So with that being said, that is who Lisa is.
That is who Lisa. And I just kept quiet, listeners and viewers. I believe South Africa needs more Lisas.
Oh, I think so too. Yes, very much so.
I really believe that. It's because I think your sort of passion for people truly is at the forefront in whatever you do. The fact that you can give your time away every Tuesday, the fact that you can go out of your way to do something, and not a small project, a 10 million rand project for so many people in the community, and provide that skills development platform. For me, that's huge. Yeah. For me, that's something that I respect a lot. And you can see you've done you've paid your school fees. You've done what you need to do. You know your stuff. But Lisa, and a lot of our viewers would like to know this, and I know they're sitting there and they want to know, how do you do it? What are the secrets to your success? How do you manage to wear all these different hats?
Okay, I don't believe that there's one secret to success.
Yes,
I truly believe that success is built on consistency, it's built on integrity, and it's built on purpose. So with that being said, I would like to say, the next thing for success is never stop learning.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I invest a lot in self-development, and I believe if you stop learning, you stop growing. And if you stop growing, then you're not able to actually give to people and to empower them, because there's nothing to give. And thirdly, I truly believe resilience plays a big part. So to all the entrepreneurs out there, that when it comes to the moment of, I want to give up, it's too difficult, I can't anymore, that is when you've got to take it up a notch and say, I'm going to continue. Because, in every tough situation I found myself in, I've always learned something. And it's during those tough situations that you build the person who you need to be or become in order to be able to do what you need to do.
Wow.
And giving up is, you always then think, I should have, and I didn't. And what could have happened? It's always that doubt afterwards. So, and lastly, I would say surround yourself with people that will challenge you, to become better, to become bigger. People that actually know more than you. Don't be intimidated by those people, but learn from them, because you will only grow and you'll only be able to accomplish what you need by being mentored by those people, by listening to what they have to give to you. So that is like my multifaceted, secrets to success.
100%. Now I love it, and I really love your ECD background, because I think childhood development is such a big thing in our country, and it's so important that our kids have the right foundation, because
Correct.
that is critical. Lisa, what are you currently working on, and how can people get involved? Because I'm sure a lot of people out there would love to be involved in your projects.
Correct. Well, I would say, like, if you're an educator, if you're a school owner, just commit to say, look, I'm going to provide better environments for my learners, and I'm going to be compliant, and I just want to do more for these learners, because they are the future of this country. And if you're a business and you want to collaborate, we welcome you to do that, because we always need those expertise.
I feel very open-mindedness, like you're an individual who's open to concepts, open to
Correct.
ideas.
Because in our team alone, we might be 4 in our team, but we actually have, like, 10 to 12 partnerships that help us, to deliver on the projects that we're currently working on, and also to deliver to our clients. So that's what I'm saying. We believe very much in collaboration with businesses, with partners, with that will bring the result to our projects and to the people that need them, because I'm very results driven. Because people always say to me, Lisa, why do you work at town planning with government institutions? I said, you know what? The results that brings will create a change for the people that need them. And that is what I focus on. Because if I focus on the end result of building people up, I forget about all the headaches in the journey. I rather focus on the
Focus on the why. I love
Yes,
it.
on the why.
Focus on the
Yes,
why.
and then also, if you have investors who want to invest, please come on board, invest with us, help us to create these projects, and uplift these communities. There's so much are in need.
And you can correct me if I'm wrong when I say this, but you are investing in something which is very verified. I mean, here's a lady who sits on boards for verifications and, and assesses many projects. So definitely worth your time. How can they contact you, Lisa?
Well, they can contact us. They can follow us on Facebook, which is ECD Upliftment Project Tech Consulting. We're on Instagram as well under the same title. You can contact me directly on my phone number, which is 083 308 8620. Drop us an email at lisa@ECD Upliftment Projects, and we will definitely connect with you, because we love remaining connected with people.
Well, I'm pretty sure a lot of the other top 100 influential men and women are also going to be networking with you, because that just seems to happen. But from all of us here, we wish you all of the best with what you're doing. And I know as Big M Productions, one of the things we're very passionate about is skills development. And with the ECD background, one of the things we work on right now is sort of digital opportunities, digital products that can give people an opportunity in rural areas to be able to learn a skill so that they can start generating funds.
Fantastic, wonderful.
So that's something that I'm sure our team will be in contact with. But from all of us here, we wish you all of the best.
Thank you
Give
so
up the
much.
any final words?
Yes, just a shout out to, firstly, I would like to acknowledge the living God I serve, because he makes things possible when they seem impossible. Secondly, to my friends and family for always encouraging me to do what I do. And then to my incredible team that supports me when tough things get tough, that celebrate with me for our victories, and keep reminding me of why I do what I do. And to the entrepreneurs out there, that sometimes want to just give up, I say, keep chasing your dreams, because it's by doing that you create consistency and also then create your legacy. So don't fear, chasing your dreams. Just live them, create a purpose, and live it to your passion.
Well, Lisa, I'm sure you're an inspiration to so many young ladies out there.
Thank
that
you.
are definitely going to follow in your footsteps and make a difference. From myself, Rajiv Mothie, I've just got one thing left to say. You guys have just been motivated.
Shaping the future of global leadership. Welcome to Global Leaders, Johannesburg 2026.